Hello my disciples, I'm Dark the Damned, and welcome back to a new episode of Deep Dive into VTubers. This is the series where we discuss VTubers and their content without delving into drama or controversy. Also, I've messed around a little bit with my microphone settings. Hopefully it sounds a little bit better than it has been in the past few videos, but we'll see. Also, this is the first new deep dive of 2026. I hope everybody's had a great New Year's, spent time with family, and, I don't know, get up to some other cool stuff. I hope you guys are still enjoying the series, and if you want to see it continue, be sure to subscribe and like the video, and leave a comment as it helps me immensely with the algorithm, and it will help me make these videos more often. But let's not take up too much time. For any regulars, you guys know the drill, but if you don't, let's rapid fire our categories. My first thoughts on the VTuber, where I first found them, where I first heard of them, etc. My opinion on their model or models, it's if I enjoy how they look, their aesthetic, etc., and just exploring the model throughout the VTuber's journey, and seeing how they've changed. My opinion on their content, only on YouTube though, because I don't really watch Twitch enough for me to cover it properly. I always try and strive myself on making sure every single VTuber is covered properly. If I enjoy the content that I see, the quality of it, etc. And lastly, my final thoughts. Just my last thoughts and overall summary of the VTuber. But with all of that explained, who are we covering today? Well, she's got a dependence on Big Macs, she's an absolute machine with her upload schedule, she's got one of my favourite designs, and she's the definition of a Yappuccino. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and give it up for SmugAlana. SmugAlana is one of the VTubers I've actually seen very regularly in my recommended. She's one of the first VTubers I ever heard about, just like with Cha-Cha, but I've been watching her off and on for a little bit now. I'm not a hardcore smuggler yet, but I've been around on her Discord and I know some of her lore. Today's episode, in my opinion though, is one of the most important ones, because it's something I feel extremely passionate about, and it's why I started this series to begin with. I know SmugAlana can be a very divisive figure in the VTubing space and just on YouTube in general. However, none of that stuff will be brought up here. Very few VTubers will be blacklisted from this series. So far, there are only 3. Baebob, Antan Desu, and Mel Nekamada. I'm not saying any more here, but those 3, don't expect an episode on them. My series is made so that every single VTuber I discuss will be judged fairly for specifically their content and their model. This channel is not for drama farming, for slagging off creators, or to light fires. I'm just a nerd who discusses things that I enjoy. So if you disagree with SmugAlana or her viewpoints, that's totally fine, but please remain respectful. But what were my first thoughts on this 400-pound Big Mac loving VTuber fox? Well, let's get on with it. My first thoughts on SmugAlana was, whoa, wow, VTuber models aren't actually that cringe most of the time. Again, she was one of the first ever VTubers that I could remember seeing, so a lot of my initial thoughts and impressions on VTubers were shaped from her. Most of my friends at the time were very anti-VTuber. They saw them as cringe 40-year-old men behind screens, weirdos, you name it. I don't like following the majority a lot of the time, and I try to find out information on my own and go from there. So SmugAlana, I didn't actually have too many thoughts on initially. I knew of her for sure, but I didn't really know a lot about her, if that makes sense. One of the few things that I did know about her was that I could not get her intro out of my head. Her intro is just iconic, I guess. Whenever I picture SmugAlana in my head, the very first thing that I think of is just seeing her bouncing back and forth to her intro song. Now normally, I would be discussing what my first video of hers was, but I don't remember. I'll discuss this more later when I actually go into depth with her content, but let's just say, it's kinda hard to keep track. But what do I actually think in my first impressions of SmugAlana? I like her, but I can't watch all of her content. Alana has a very lovely voice. I don't know why, but I just find her very nice to listen to whenever I'm gaming.
In other countries, it's not like that, though, so don't do that. Yeah.
She helped keep my sanity alive when I was completing my Pokédex on the new Pokemon game, which I did, by the way, in under 6 days. And she also helped me during the start of December, which was quite a struggle for me, but we'll go into that later. Those were my initial thoughts on SmugAlana starting off, but what do I think about her models? Let's get into it. To be completely honest, guys, I don't think I'm going to be able to cover this adequately. Listen, I'm a one-man show on this channel. I record, edit, write scripts, I do pretty much everything all on my own. And I don't think I'm good enough to justify myself asking for help when it comes to this sort of things. SmugAlana has over 2,400 videos on her channel, so in the many years that she's been doing this, I won't have a clue if she's had one-off models, festive ones, etc. And of course that won't even take into account if she's had any kind of models that have been exclusive only on her Twitch as well. So for the sake of clarity, I'm just going to discuss the main model that she has. And to put it simply, it's in the top 5 of my favourite VTuber models of all time. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love the colours so much. I think they all blend together beautifully. I also think that her outfit is just great. I love fox characters as well, so for me that's just a lovely combination right there. Oh, and of course, who could forget just how expressive the model is as well. I love seeing all of the expressions and emotions that it can have depending on how Alana is feeling. It makes it feel a lot more alive. But that's not where the story ends, oh no. She has 2 versions of this model, and both of them are incredible. It's why she's in my top 5. The fact that she has not 1, but 2 versions, and both of them look incredible. She just slays, what can I say? I love the fire design just as much as the frost design. I again think that all of the colours are nailed perfectly, and I like the outfit as well, it just works. This section is shorter than it would be normally, but again that's because of what I said earlier. But all in all, this is just lightning in a bottle right here. Instantly recognisable, very pleasant to look at, and not because of the honkers. Although I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't a cool feature. Overall, this model gets a very firm pass in my eyes. Alana is just amazing. And now we move on to her content. And remember, YouTube only. What do I think? Let's get into it. When it comes to SmugAlana's content, there is a lot to unpack. Her content, from what I've seen, is pretty much solely reaction content. But the main thing is, she watches a lot of different stuff. I'm talking that she pumps out 4 videos a day. Her channel is a f***ing machine. And you gotta give respect to her and to the people who I'm assuming help out Alana. But if she's doing this solo, then that is insanity. If there is one thing that I really do enjoy about SmugAlana's content from the about month or so that I've been watching her, is the fact that she has a very firm spine. She is a lady with very strong beliefs, and she's firm on it. I personally believe that that is a good thing. You should hold on to your beliefs, and you shouldn't cave into the majority and peer pressure and simply follow along with what everybody believes. Form your own opinions, do your own research, and come to your own conclusion your way, instead of immediately leaping onto the hype train.
Yeah, like, you take care of the children and they provide and pay for the bills, obviously. Even in the caveman days, you wouldn't be going out hunting the saber-toothed tiger. Your husband or your unga-bunga monkey man that you would, have sex with and have babies with and procreate, they would be dragging back the saber-toothed tiger while you're in the cave protecting the children and keeping them safe.
As for her herself, I personally found SmugAlana to be very entertaining. She's a reaction VTuber that I can put on and watch consistently for quite a while whenever I'm doing other things. She doesn't fall into the react slop territory, as I believe her videos are transformative enough. She takes her time and really goes into the content, giving her full thoughts and beliefs, and really picking it apart.
diaper scalping in my world. Chat, I honest to God, I did not know this was a thing. I did not know. I was like, okay, maybe they're disgusting and they like have bathrooms and they're all shitted up and shit. They actually make them sit there in their own shit and then say 6'7" on national television.
And there's one cool thing that I really like to mention here. Some of her smugglers told me about Alana, and one thing that I really wish people would talk more about her is the fact that she is a lady with a load of stories to tell. Seriously, why do I never hear about this? The fact that she's been through so much in her life. From where she's lived, from where she's moved, what she's experienced, her family, etc. I think it's personally a really cool thing if you have quite a bit of history behind yourself that you feel comfortable sharing. Frankly, I don't think Alana gets enough credit for the stories that she's told. But then, we get to the elephant in the room. SmugAlana's content is very divisive from what I've seen. Now, as promised, I am not going into depth. There are other places that do this. But I wouldn't feel right if I didn't at least talk about it a little. The most important thing to remember is respect. Do I agree with every take that Alana has? No. Do I disagree with every take that she has? No. But most importantly, am I going to go and harass her and her followers, say disgusting things to her, and to try and screw her over because I disagree with some of her takes and opinions? No. You have to remember that people are allowed to think what they think. If you disagree with them, that's completely fine, but disagree with them in a respectful way. That's all I'm gonna say. And it upsets me that people just can't keep these thoughts and opinions to themselves if they don't like someone. But in general, I really do find enjoyment in Alana's content. But before we move on to my conclusion, I want to bring up that thing I mentioned earlier. During last December from the 5th to the 12th, I was quite sick. Every time I tried to eat, I would throw up. And I have a severe phobia of being sick. So my anxiety during this time was absolutely atrocious. So during that time, it was very difficult for me. So why bring this up? Because SmugAlana was one of the few channels I was watching that really kept me going while I was recovering. She made me laugh and kept the anxiety of, am I going to be sick again, at bay. So Alana, if you're watching this, thank you for helping me during a tough time. I'll always appreciate you and your yapaholic antics, mate. Overall, I really do enjoy SmugAlana's content. I believe there is a lot of good on her channel if you're willing to take the mature route and remain civil even if you disagree. If you're willing to be respectful to her and her beliefs, and if you just want a 400-pound Frostfire yapping fox to vibe with, I believe SmugAlana has you covered. She's also a VTuber I personally would love to meet and have a chat with, but I mean, come on. Would I recommend SmugAlana's content? Yes, I would, but only if you're mature enough to accept that people will disagree on things. Try to explore SmugAlana's channel your own way, and find the content that you can gel with, and try and stay away from the content you may have strong feelings on. If you can do that, I believe SmugAlana will be a very good VTuber to watch. I give you a Big Mac out of 10. Now I best be off, but I've got some other things to say, so don't go away yet. You already know who's going to be next on the series, that being none other than Scoo-chan. Now I am trying my absolute best to try and get her name right. It's one of those names that looks like it can be said a few different ways, but apparently it's said like Scoo-chan, so I'm going with that. Be sure to correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and thank you very much Alana for giving me permission to cover you on the series. To be honest, I didn't even know she would, guys. She's the largest VTuber I've covered so far, and in comparison I'm just a drop in the ocean. But it was amazing that you did, so thank you very much again. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you want to become one of my disciples. Check the description if you want to join the Discord. And one new thing, follow me on Twitch. My name is DarkTheDamnVT. I'm brand new there, and if anybody could stop by, it would be lovely. I'm trying to do more Pokemon related content. I might even do some fun challenges and maybe some cool reaction style stuff with my chat. But again, I always like to say, thank you all for your support and I appreciate you a lot. But for now, I'm Dark the Damned, and I'll see you guys later. Take care, my disciples.